Earlier this year, a video of Mahendra Singh Dhoni's bike collection had finally reached the online world. Tales of his bike and car collections were only imaginable before this viral video. Everyone had read about it, but only a select few were fortunate enough to witness the collection. And here it was, available to all to see and ogle at it. I could not believe the collection Dhoni had amassed. At the end of the video, Sakshi Dhoni called his love for collecting bikes mad. This week on Luxe Insider with Anita Khatri, I dive deeper into the world of collecting. Is it an obsession? Is it a hobby? Is it passion? On today's episode, I'm joined by an esteemed cricket memorabilia collector. And what better time to have this episode while the cricket fever continues to engulf India. And that's not all. I'm also joined by cricketing legend from the 1983 World Cup winning team, Balwinder Singh Sandhu. And talking about sports memorabilia, have you heard about an exclusive 1983 Medallion Kit made by Huddler Australia to commemorate the 40th anniversary of India's historic win in the 1983 Cricket World Cup? No? Then calling cricket lovers to stick with me on this very interesting episode. Collecting is a timeless human hobby, dating back thousands of years. From ancient civilizations to modern enthusiasts, people have been driven by a deep desire to acquire and cherish items of personal significance. The act of amassing objects for their beauty, historical significance, or personal value has deep roots and, of course, if rare, it needs deep pockets. People often collect for the emotional attachment it brings. These memorabilias or collectibles can evoke memories, emotions, and a sense of nostalgia. I often wondered if emotional attachment is the only driver for people to collect. Does the buck stop really there? Collecting also has a money angle. It is an investment. I don't know how many agree, but I'm sure people who are collectors would understand when I say it is an investment. Rare pieces can appreciate in value over time, making it a lucrative venture. Collecting has also been a symbol of status and prestige throughout history. Owning a masterpiece can signal one's refined taste and sophistication, which is often highly valued in society. Fast forward to the present day, and the collecting world has taken countless forms. Among the most intriguing are sports medallions and memorabilia, where fans and enthusiasts find a deep connection to their favorite athletes and teams. While in the West, the sport memorabilia market has now become big business, that fever is yet to be caught up in India. And who better than Digvijay Singh Kathiwada to throw light on the art of collecting sports memorabilia? Digvijay Singh hails from the erstwhile royal family of Kathiwada, situated in present-day Madhya Pradesh. He is passionate about sports and the culture and heritage of India, and is also a fourth-generation art collector. He has conducted several sports memorabilia auctions to raise awareness about the subject and to raise money for charitable causes. Let's hear straight from him.
I can't pinpoint exactly when I began collecting sports memorabilia, but I was fascinated with sports memorabilia because we had the luxury to go abroad, very fortunate to go abroad and visit a lot of museums. And we realized that museums not only about art, antiquities, and other things, other objects of beauty, but you go to the Lord's Museum. I'm a lover of cricket. go to the museum as a young child, and you see all these lovely artifacts and signed memorabilia by cricketers of yesteryear, in a day and age where they didn't have videography and photography. And that's the only way you can remember or cherish players' contributions to the game. So that really fascinated me. And there were old journalists. There were lots of websites abroad where you could pick up knickknacks, because the West had a culture of creating a platform for sporting heritage.
Okay.
India and the East didn't have that much. So, after college, you have a little bit of money, you buy all these little knickknacks. Of course, I worked in an auction house, then I studied at Sotheby's, I taught at Sotheby's. So all these places really influenced me as to what it takes to collect memorabilia. And that's where my journey began, really, after college.
And this journey has been fascinating for you?
Yeah, very fascinating. I mean, it's a bit of an addiction also, so you have to draw a line and learn when to stop. But I've been collecting, since I was about 18, 19 years old, and I still do every now and then.
Which is your most precious memorabilia in your collection? And how did you procure that? How did you acquire that? What's the story behind? Let's understand.
Most precious. So it's difficult to pinpoint one because there are quite a few, but I can tell you 2 or 3 stories of maybe a few memorabilia. Precious and rare, I'll just combine all of them because some are more personal. One was Rahul Dravid's bat. I'm a big fan of Rahul Dravid. He's the Indian cricket team's coach today. Hard guy to get a hold of, obviously. He's a very reserved person in that sense. You'll never see him in very many ads. You'll never see him in public appearances. It's not easy to get his signature on stuff, right? He had given his bat to Rahul Bose's charity auction, where I happened to be. And it was quite clear I was going to bid on a few things because I really enjoyed some of these people who I grew up as a little child watching, Lakshman, Dravid, Kumble, they were all in the room as well. And that bat was a special bat because after the Kargil war, it was the first time India was playing Pakistan, where we had invited them over, where I think the Vajpayee government had called them over for the Friendship Series. And in Kolkata, Dravid against Shami, Shoaib Akhtar, all these top lethal bowlers, he smashed twin centuries. So twin centuries, a century in each innings, which is a rare feat. And he's done this twice. The only other person to do this is, as an Indian, is Sunil Gavaskar. So it's a bit of a thing, right, to against Pakistan do that. Now, this very particular bat, because he said it was this very particular bat, is what he put up in auction. And I got into a bidding war with somebody in the room and just ended up buying it. It was way above the budget. But I think that's something that I still, treasure very dearly. And a couple of other ones which are very rare and unique are 1911. The first, it wasn't an Indian team. It was the first all-India team. There's a difference in that if you're a cricket buff.
Okay.
BCCI officially sent the first Indian cricket team in 1932. But before that, there were many attempts that Indians got together and went on unofficial tour. So it's like, say, me having a club team and going to England. I'm an Indian team going to England. But I'm not recognized by any official authority. But that time, the Maharaja of Patiala and whatnot had organized it.
Okay.
Up until 1932, and many years, the attempt was made to have an official tour. But it didn't happen until 1932 for various different reasons, which I don't want to get into now. Story for another time. But I've signed autographs of all the team players from that tour. So I think that's a bit rare and unique. Privileged to have that. And the last one would probably be coming to the 1932 tour. Very rare photographs of the Maharaja of Porbandar. He happens to be my great-grandfather, and he also happened to be the captain of the Indian team on that 1932 tour. People think it's C.K. Naidu. Of course, C.K. Naidu was the on-field playing captain, but things didn't work like that back in the day. It was, the tour happened because of Maharaja Porbandar and my grand-uncle, his brother-in-law, Ghanshyam Singh Ji Limdi, who was royal family Limdi. They sponsored the whole tour. Otherwise, yet again, there was going to be no Indian cricket team traveling abroad. So I think those rare photographs, I don't think anybody has. No museum, nobody's ever seen it. So it's something where we're publishing a book in the next maybe 6 to 8 months. Research has been done, but it's very factual data. So we're still trying to find the anecdotal data on the 1932 tour because there were a lot of things that happened in the back end. they used to go by ship and things, right? So things are documented and written down in archives in London. So you really have to find young researchers to go get it out for you. So I think these three pieces of memorabilia I hold very dear and quite unique in my collection.
Fabulous. Thank you for sharing with us. I mean, these kind of stories you don't really get to know. And right now we are listening from you straight there.
Yeah.
If I had to start having this desire that I want to get into collecting these sports memorabilia,
right?
What are the factors that go into deciding the value? I mean, can you share that with us?
Sure.
Well, I am not into this. I am into collectibles, but not into the cricket and the sports part. So, if you can share.
Sure. I'll tell you something that's relatable to everybody, right? It doesn't apply only to sports memorabilia. It'll apply to jewelry you wear. It'll apply to artwork that people collect. It'll apply to any object of beauty. I'll tell you how to place value on it, right? And this is quite standardized around the world. There are many parameters. And of course, it does change a bit from these different, subject matters. But by and large, 4 main parameters, okay? So, rarity. How rare is the object? Like, rare meaning how hard is it to get? If that's hard to get, or this ring is hard to get, or this watch is hard to get, there's a certain value that's placed to it. So that's one parameter. Second parameter is its uniqueness. Now that's hard to get, but uske aise 1000 hai which is lying in a vault in somewhere, you still know that there are thousands of them. They're hard to get. It's rare, but it's not unique. If it's one of a kind, then it's even more valuable, right? So rarity, uniqueness, then it's historical significance. How old is it? Did a master craftsman make it? Was a famous painter? Why was he famous? Did a famous person own it? Did it do something in historical context? Like the example, the Mona Lisa is honestly more famous because it got stolen twice. Right? That it's become famous over a period of time. Is it, did Mahatma Gandhi wear these chappals? Versus those same standardized chappals, a lot of Pandit Pujaris also wear, but Mahatma Gandhi wore it. So that memorabilia becomes more unique, and more rare. And it's historically significant because it's been placed somewhere in history. Or like this bat I told you about, Rahul Dravid. He's used it in that particular match. It's only one. It's very rare. There's only one of a kind, and he used it in a historic match. Or MS Dhoni 6. He had a 6 only with one bat, na? Now at his house, he probably has thousands of bats he's used and played with.
Correct.
Thousands.
Correct. And
in IPL matches, he might have scored or whatever. But if you look at MS Dhoni, what is the one thing you'd want? When he hit that 6, either give me that bat or that glove or that jersey. It's the most valuable thing he's done for our nation, right? And so historical significance. And the last thing is, if it's an old item, you have to be able to trace its history. Whose was it? Is it M.F. Hussein's painting, which was given to his son, then grandson, now great-grand? So can you track the record and the proof, the authenticity and the provenance of it, that has it come from a legitimate source? So it's not a fake or a copy, or it's not been stolen, because Nazi loot and back in the day, a lot of stolen art. It might be rare, unique, valuable, all that stuff. But, a lot of people were killed because of these treasures being looted. Much like British history and the Indian loot that went abroad, right? So these are the four parameters that would help you define
these are the
how to.
Basically.
Absolutely.
And you are very correct when you say that, this applies to every collectible. It's not really sporty or sports memorabilia only.
Absolutely.
Now coming to this, how do you look after these babies? I mean, you'll call it babies, you'll call your collectibles. How do you, any tips for us? How do you preserve?
Yeah, so
you are collecting so many, you'll have to look after them.
Absolutely. I mean,
how do you preserve
it's a nightmare.
It's in right shape, right form.
It's a nightmare, to be honest. It's a nightmare. But it's a good question. Why? Because a lot of people can acquire things, but it's more painstaking and takes time and money. People can have, but they've spent time and energy acquiring that money, and after that you have to spend time and energy looking after it, whether it's property, artwork, whatever it is. So there are 2 or 3 things that are they're criminal. Direct sunlight is criminal for most objects, unless it's a crystal or something. I can't comment. But say it's artwork. If it's paper, artwork, photograph, direct sunlight. If you place that artwork near a window which is getting direct or indirect sunlight for X amount of hours in the day, that's going to be doom for your object, right? That's one. Moisture environment is a killer. So if you
is a killer in any case.
yeah, well, if you have controlled environments where the AC is coming on X amount of time, there's a lot of ventilation. You leave that artwork in a storeroom without any ventilation for summer, winter, monsoon, this, that. That's hell for any object.
Okay.
So artwork and moisture, sunlight and moisture are usually the two killers. So you have to guard against those.
But do you think this is also the same story for bats and balls?
Yes, absolutely. Signatures on a ball will completely fade away if they're in either of these two environments, right? So signature is very important on a piece of memorabilia. Even your cloth, if you notice chemical based, so non-polyester based curtains, if they have a design pattern, you see how quickly they fade or they rip apart or tear.
You're absolutely correct.
So,
now that you tell me,
yeah,
it rings a bell.
So same thing for artwork, any medium cloth, because these are jerseys at the end of the day, or a bat made of wood. These are natural materials, and the older they are, they were probably made in cotton. So they're more brittle. So guarding against that. So of course you can frame it in acrylic or in glass. So as best as you can, but keep it in a ventilated, safe, cool, dry environment away from light. That is the main thing.
Lost or had a expensive damage to your collectible ever?
Damage, yes. Loss, I hope not. No, better check, yeah. Now you're getting me worried. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully not, because I haven't noticed anything's gone missing yet. But damage, yeah, it's happened because of these reasons.
So loss from damage.
Loss from damage, yeah. Yeah, loss from damage.
Loss as a
Loss, of course. Loss from damage has happened. Yeah, and we've corrected our mistakes as far as possible. Old frames have gotten termites, so we've learned from that mistake as well. So as a collector, you'll have a learning journey also. But if you can spend money acquiring something, spend some time and energy looking after it, right?
I agree with you, because nothing comes without that time, effort.
Absolutely. It's just like good clothes, no? You'll send it to dry cleaning instead of washing because you've bought a certain material that is not conducive to washing. Similar.
Talking about, you actually mentioned right at our start that sports memorabilia is quite popular internationally, globally. What about India? Have you seen this trend changing or growing? How's it?
Very slow.
Very slow.
It's been not enough people have made a concerted effort because the margins haven't been good enough for dealers and auction houses. So usually things like this, the Indian art market really took a leap because a lot of different art galleries and auction houses, in a sense, played as a team. Team called India. A lot of people hate each other. A lot of them work with each other still till today. But what happened over a period of time with modern Indian art is people started placing a value on it much faster than other things, right? Because an artwork is of a certain size, it can be displayed to the public if you put it in your museum or in your living room. Jewelry you can only show. And let's be honest, all this comes from a certain insecurity that developing countries have because you want to show. Now, what happens with a show is a very positive thing. You're protecting your cultural history. So by giving it value, by objectifying it, a lot of people say, oh, Digvijay, you deal in art and this and that. You're objectifying this beautiful thing. I'm like, don't objectify it then. Subjectify it. And if you subjectify it, it'll have no value. Why do you talk about M.F. Hussain? Why aren't you talking about any of these other, do you even know the other important artists of India? No, you don't. The reason you don't know is because they're not expensive. The minute they do, you will know. And what has happened? You've ended up protecting your cultural heritage. So the minute somebody pays X amount for a Sunil Gavaskar jersey or a signed bat by Mr. Kapil Dev or whatever it is, you'll start putting your cultural heritage on a platform.
It's not yet happened.
It's not yet happened for sports.
Maybe it will fix.
Well, I did try. I did 3 auctions, but it is time. If it's not your core focus, it becomes a bit difficult. I did it for charity. I did it for building a cricket ground in my hometown, and they were all very successful projects.
Okay.
But the time and energy it took from me, I had a lot of other obligations. So now we're going to try and do it again because I do have another leap to make. We're building a school. We're building a pavilion for the kids out there. We're building a library. So as selfish motivation would have it, I do have another leap to take. And if I gain momentum, maybe I'll be able to do this again and hopefully inspire other auction houses to do it.
Sure, I think it will work for sure.
Yeah.
What about 1983 Medallion?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about Medallion?
So this medallion, when I saw this medallion first, the first thing that struck me is a very good quality product, which a lot of these limited edition merchandise and memorabilia, people don't often get it right. You know, they do it for the wrong reasons because they had a connection or they had this or they had that, whatever. I'm not judging. But as a person who tries to establish memorabilia, it's important for me to speak up. But when I saw this product, it's a very good quality product. It's tastefully done, first of all. And it feels very good in the hands because it has a certain weight to it. You know, otherwise memorabilia can be a very, not the most negative sense, but very plasticky and very tinny in that sense. It has a very good weight to it. Unless people see it and touch it and feel it and experience it for themselves, they may not understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm using vocabulary that might be easy. Okay? Vajan hai isme, you know. And that feels good when you're gifting it to someone, when you're putting it in your library as a collection. And you're celebrating some of these legends who, in the most dire situation, gave us a World Cup win, which I think we should, as a sporting nation, we should celebrate for eternity. I mean, you see other countries, they will say how this person won this Olympic medal in 1800 something and God knows what else. It's great. It's beautiful. And we must celebrate them. And I think it's an amazing little, you know.
Would you buy it?
Yes, I would.
Put it simple.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
Yes,
You would.
simple.
And you would suggest anybody who loves sports or cricket.
Absolutely. Especially the generation who looked up to this lot and admired them. So a lot of people in their who were born in the 60s, maybe even 70s, who for them, this World Cup was, it really, defined, right? It inspired someone like Sachin Tendulkar, should I say any more, right? So especially for them, they would really identify with a product like this. And if they don't, I think their wives should, because if their birthdays are coming up, their 60th and 70th birthdays,
their numbers,
they should. Absolutely. That could be something very interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Digvijay, any other message you have to the younger generation today?
No, in general, no, not really. I think a key takeaway from doing things like this is understand. It's not very difficult to understand your past as a cultural heritage, as a nation. So understand a little bit of history. Nobody, the textbooks are damn boring and I got really bored of studying history and I loved history much later.
Correct.
But to know where you're going, it's important to know where we all came from, So that's my only give and take for people younger than me.
Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The thin line between passion and obsession can easily be crossed over. Yet, like Digvijay mentioned, while you may spend the money to acquire collectible, you also need to think about the time and energy to look after them. Collectors acquire memorabilia to express their love for a particular sport, team, or a player. With the ongoing World Cup fever, I have an interesting keep to share it with you guys. Nostalgic for sure. But let's go back to the 1983 World Cup. The legendary win for India. To mark 40 years of this victorious occasion, Hudler Australia proudly announced the launch of an exclusive limited edition 1983 Medallion Kit. Destined to become a prize collectible for cricket enthusiasts across India. The Medallion Kit, a brainchild of David Flintoff, was designed in an exclusive collaboration with the man himself, Kapil Dev, and his 1983 World Champion team. This special Medallion collection recognizes all 15 of this great Indian cricket team along with their manager Mr. Man Singh. The 15-member squad is beautifully presented on a 55 round medallion in genuine 14-karat gold plating. There are only 1,983 medallion kits available worldwide and are priced at Rs 69,000 until 19th November 2023. That is the end of the ongoing 2023 ICC Cricket World Cup. You can buy this kit online at www.1983cricketworldcup.com. And by the way, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is a proud owner of this kit. Here is your chance too. And moving on to one of the legends from the 1983 Cricket World Cup winning team. I had a chance to spend a few minutes with Balwinder Singh Sandhu. I'm sure by now we have all watched 83 the movie. The wicket of Gordon Greenwich was the crucial moment that turned the tails for the Indian team in the 1983 World Cup finals. And the person who managed this stunning wicket was Balwinder Singh Sandhu. Here's what he had to share with me. So, 1983, what an achievement, and the entire world. I mean, India was just on top of the world, and it's 40 years since then. How does it feel for you?
It's normal, it's nothing, it's okay. It was one tournament that we did well, so fine, okay. That's gone, that's into history. We are looking forward to some other achievement to do.
Okay, so it really, it's history, that's it.
That's gone. I don't live in past.
Okay, you live in the present.
Yeah, I live in present, and I think for me, 83 was past. Then the next big challenge was a 83 movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I was involved in all aspect of filmmaking except music.
Okay.
So I used to poke my nose in every department.
So you relived the entire.
I've seen the World Cup. During my playing days, I saw the World Cup from inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, I'm sitting out and I'm watching from outside in. So there were many moments where I started crying. There were tears in my eyes. And,
really?
Yeah,
so if I had to ask you one special moment which you can never ever forget, since you're talking about this many moments when you were emotional, what that one moment which you can never ever forget about 1983 World Cup?
I think Kapil lifting the cup, and that was a big moment because that was the first time we won something big tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And also during shoot, when the players were running in after the last wicket, that really hit me. Okay, you've done something big, which I was not aware, or I didn't feel that way
when you were there.
Yeah.
But now that you look back, you feel.
When you're sitting out, then it hits you. The same things is played in front of you, and
then you realize what you have actually achieved.
How the audience must have felt. Because
correct.
I'm looking like I'm an audience.
Audience now, yeah. So you could see their perspective. Yeah. What exactly you would tell me the atmosphere in the dressing room before the World Cup was won and after the World Cup was won?
Before the World Cup, most of us were used to pulling each other's legs all the time, and Sandeep, myself, Ravi, Roger, Kirti, we were just keep pulling legs and have fun. And after the World Cup, we were just normal. It's nothing.
The atmosphere then changed in the dressing room after the World Cup was won?
Celebrating. We have won the tournament, fine. There was celebration, but it was not. It didn't hit us there.
Okay.
When we came to India, then we realized, this is something
what an achievement.
Big. Yeah, it's something big because of the reaction of the crowd here.
Okay. So everybody after winning also, it was just the same team spirit that you all had.
Yeah, we even now, if 83 team comes, it's a hilarious time. Nobody is spared except Gavaskar and and Jimmy Amarnath, no one else is spared.
No one else is spared. They are spared, but Gavaskar
Only
and
two, because they are our heroes and idols. So we don't pull their legs, but rest Kapil and everyone.
With your permission, how did it feel to be the underdogs going to the World Cup and then winning it?
It's okay.
40 years before. 40 years before.
Yeah.
We were treated, it was like
We had nothing
going
to
for
lose.
the competition and...
No, but we have nothing to lose. Okay, every game we win, it was an achievement.
Okay.
Because before that we had only beaten East Africa. So, and every game we won, okay, fine. We were enjoying, that win and looking forward to the next game.
Okay.
So,
But it wasn't that you were already, the team was aware that, we will get it. We'll get the World Cup.
no, I don't think so. Means we wanted to do well. That was for sure. That I wanted to do well in this World Cup, and Kapil was the same. He wanted to do well in the World Cup, and we wanted to win matches. And now when we lose game, I am a very bad loser. If I get really upset.
Okay.
And Kapil is same. I think now we don't like to lose because we want to go for a win. And after fighting out there and giving our best, and if we can't win the game, fine. Okay, then we can accept it. But we wanted to win every game. So that was the attitude. Maybe that Punjabi tadka helped us because Punjabiyon की आदत है ना वो गले पड़ जाओ अगले के.
हाँ.
तो हम सब पंजाबी ऐसे थे तो गले पड़ जाओ, एग्रेसिव हो जाओ, पहले पीट लो फिर देखेंगे क्या होता है.
क्या होता है बाद में देखते हैं.
बाद में सोचेंगे.
बराबर.
फर्स्ट एक्ट फर्स्ट एंड देन थिंक सही था कि गलत था.
Sure. What are your views about the 1983 Medallion collectible kit?
This is a fantastic idea by David, who called me up and said he wanted to make medallions. And I said, okay, it's a good idea, but we need to speak to Kapil. So I put him to Kapil, and Kapil said, good. Then they worked out how many has to be made. So it's just starting 1983
Correct.
only.
Correct.
It's a collector's item, I think. It's the best gift that you can give to your grandchildren.
Sure. Why
They will
not?
make big money out of it.
Sure. I agree. I really agree with you on that. Totally. Yeah. But
It will
it's...
be a proud collection to keep.
No, the fact that you have a memorabilia of World Cup 1983, it is itself speaks. Yeah, it says, it's a statement. So
that was a turning point. See, 1983 means, if you see, it's a turning point in Indian psyche. After that win, we started believing in ourselves.
correct.
So, ना सीधी सड़कें याद नहीं रहती, मोड़ याद रहते हैं. So,
जी, बहुत खूब
ये
कहा.
भी एक ऐसा मोड़ था जहाँ पे टीम जीती, एंड एवरीवन वुड लाइक टू, उस मोड़ की कुछ यादें हैं जो रख सकते हैं अपने घरों में.
Few words on the current Indian cricket team.
अच्छा, superb. They are playing very well. Our batting, bowling, and everything is going right. And I strongly believe that the real World Cup starts in the semi-finals. That's when the pressure will start. And how we handle that pressure is important because we are playing in India. And I feel that the players, the more they are mentally relaxed, the better they will perform.
Do you think we will bring home again the World Cup?
So that's a different thing. But first we have to win that semi-finals.
Sure.
So winning the semi-final is the first step. And then final is another game that needs to be won. So they should not be thinking now that we have won the World Cup. It's still a long way to go because I think league game, you're doing well, you're performing well, the team is combining well, everything is going right. But the pressure game will be the semi-finals.
Any lessons that you would like to share with them? Any kind of learnings
So
which
just stay mentally relaxed. Just take it one game at a time. That's all.
Okay.
One session at a time. So, and they're well aware of all those things. I'm sure not the way they are playing, we are the favorite, and we were not the favorite in 83, but they are the favorite right now. And in
Things have
83,
changed, yeah?
Things have changed. Everything has changed. Now, board didn't have money to give us any bonuses. It's thanks to Lata Mangeshkar ji who organized a show, and thanks to Raj Bhai who roped in Lata ji to sing a song. And from that collection, we were given 1 lakh each. So that was a big thing for us. And Lata, the legendary Lata Mangeshkar singing for us was itself a big thing.
Sure.
So now everything is going for them. Now the money is there, everything is there. Even the support staff is bigger than the team. And our sports support staff was only one guy,
Correct.
Man Singh.
Oh, things are totally different.
So-
I mean, this is digital era.
Yeah.
Everything is
The social
there.
media is there.
Yes.
The best thing is they should stay away from newspaper, no media, nothing. Don't see news, nothing.
Perfect.
Stay away.
Yeah, that you think so would work, so that they are focused.
Because then you're into your own thoughts and with yourself what needs to be done. You're thinking about the game unnecessarily. Somebody is putting ideas into your head.
No distractions.
No
You're
distractions.
focused in your right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Often, we don't realize the greatness of an achievement in a particular moment, as Mr. Sandhu shared. And memorabilia like this Medallion Kit only brings back fond memories for him. And on that note, that is all from this week. I'm sure we all are rooting for Team India's victory to script another history. Fingers crossed. I'll be back next week with a new episode with a new indulgence.